Hi, it's Tara.
It's Jen.
And we are here with another episode of Girlfriends Talk Marketing. And we are filming in the lovely Beacon Photography and Frame Studios in Winthrop. And we have a lovely guest, Deborah McConkey here. She is the founder and CEO of Bottom Line Marketing, a consulting agency here in Massachusetts. And today we are going to talk about...
Today we're going to be talking about the customer experience and how you need to be responding in order to be able to keep your customers. Can you tell us a little bit about what the customer experience actually is?
Yes, well first I want to thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you.
I love your videos, so I'm happy to be in one. So why is customer experience so important? It's really the center stone, I think, of marketing today. In fact, I've seen things that say customer experience is the new marketing. Because if you think about what customer experience is today, it's really everything from the customer journey, from beginning to end, before, during, and after when they buy.
Yeah.
It's all of the touch points. And it's not just about one transaction, like when you buy. It's about what happens for the duration of your relationship with the customer.
Yeah.
So that is why it is so important. It's really the opportunity that companies have to attract and engage customers and make them loyal, keep them as loyal customers, or it's an opportunity to lose them if you don't do it right and if you don't pay attention to all of those. And when you think about interactions that you have with customers, it's not simply customer support or your tech support. It's your website. It's your product information sheets. It's your installation instructions. You know, it's how you handle repairs, your onboarding. Any of the things that impact the customer's experience with you, and it doesn't have to be in person or phone conversation. Those are all part of customer experience. So, as you can imagine, think of it as something very fragile. You can have it and lose it easily if you screw it badly.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, I mean, just as you said, that really makes the customer experience and something that businesses should really be focusing on because it's important. So again, you alluded to, you know, not just having it be the final transition point, but the research that those folks are doing along their entire, you know, awareness, consideration, you know, decision-making strategy. But like, can you talk to us a little bit more about like why this is so important and why companies really need to be addressing this now?
Well, there's actually been a lot of studies on why customer experience is important, and there's some interesting things that came up. So I think it was Oracle did a study of senior executives, and they found that 76% of them said that customer experience was one of the most important factors in whether or not their customers were enthusiastic about their brands. Okay, so that's a key thing. Then there's also studies, I think it was, this was great. Bain and Company did a study of customers, and about 80% of them thought that they did a great job at customer experience.
Right.
Then they interviewed their customers.
Yeah.
8% of them said that they were having a great experience. So there's a big disconnect between what you think you're doing and what's actually happening. But probably the biggest reason is really the bottom line, because there's been different studies, and one that I've read said the amount of lost business globally from bad customer experience, which is usually bad service, is close to $340 billion.
Holy smokes.
So there's a lot of money that gets lost, a lot of lost revenues because of not delivering good customer experience.
Interesting, yeah.
Is this something that's important for companies of all sizes?
It absolutely is, because what you have to think about is, you know, things have changed. Even if you've been in business for a while, doesn't matter if you're small or big. Competition is greater. because now people can buy similar products as yours globally because of they can go on websites.
Yeah.
And it's not just similar products, but really your competition is anybody that provides alternatives to a job that needs to be done that customers are trying to purchase. So the second thing is customers have raised their expectations in terms of what they expect now, because even if you are selling to a technologist or a research scientist, when they leave their office, they're consumers. They bought from Amazon,
Yep.
and they bought from smaller companies, and they want to know, why can't you deliver the same kind of experience they can?
See.
So they've raised the bar, and therefore, even if they don't expect you to be in Amazon, they're going to be disappointed if you're falling way short of that.
And what's, following along those lines, what is the biggest mistake that companies make when it comes to customer service?
Well, and customer service is one of the most important elements because it's so direct, customer experience. I think it's that they don't track it. They don't pay attention. I think that there are some questions that companies can ask themselves about how they're doing, like, do we deliver what we say we're going to deliver?
Right.
Okay? Are we easy to do business with? That's a big one for me, because there's so many companies that you feel like you have to jump through hoops to buy a product or return something.
Yep.
So that's an important part. Are we delivering the kinds of products and services that are meaningful to you, that are relevant?
Right.
And the very important part about service is, are we responsive? Do we take care of your questions and your issues in a timely fashion and in a helpful way? So those are questions companies should ask themselves to evaluate, but then they should be checking it out. And one of the most important ways, I think, is companies should make customer experience top priority from the top level of the organization throughout. It's not just the function of the people that are on the phones and on the front lines,
Right.
because everybody in the company is doing something that
Right.
contributes directly or indirectly to customer experience. So it has to be part of everybody's job. So one of the biggest mistakes companies make is they think it's customer service. So if
Right.
they get a bad satisfaction rating, they think, well, we
Right.
need to retrain customer service. But it really goes beyond that.
Yeah, to potentially like the sales cycle where there might have been an issue there. Now, how do you have, like, or what do you recommend to companies to get the plan right? Like, is this a quarterly check-in with customers? Is this do you implement a review service 20 days after implementation of certain products? Is it different for everybody? Like, can you talk a little bit about like ways that you check in and make sure that you're making this top priority within your company?
Sure. Well, there's a few different ways you can do it. One is there are a lot of automatic things that you can institute, whether it be through websites or others, or through email, that ask customers how they've done,
Right.
how the experience was. And
Yeah.
you keep that short, because not everybody's going to respond to it, and that has primarily to do with satisfaction. You'll tend to get people who are really happy and really unhappy.
Yeah.
So you've got to take care of that. But there's other ways. If you, depending on what kind of experience you are, you can have mystery shoppers if you're a retailer.
Oh, yeah.
You can have people calling your customer service department to see
Yeah.
what's happening. You can, if you hire a consultant to actually do an audit, which is, I think, a great place to start. If you haven't done it before, then somebody like me would come in and literally listen to interactions, watch things, talk to people internally, and get a sense of where things break down. And great place to look is if you get any complaints.
Yeah.
And take a look at those. And those should be reviewed at the highest levels as well.
Interesting. Yeah, so it's really taking the entire like C-suite organization and bringing customer service throughout, like almost culture code.
Absolutely. And that's why it's easier if you start from the beginning and make that your focus, because then you can incorporate it
Right.
into everything that you do, how you design products, and it's the lens that you use then for everything piece of communication that you put out. So that's the easiest. But if you haven't been doing that, it's never too late to take a look and help you get an honest assessment of what's
Yeah.
going on. And then the good thing is, so many of the things you can collect, even as feedback, and we can talk about customer research at another time, but
Yep.
it is, it's easy, some of the things are easy to collect.
Yeah.
It's just that companies don't always communicate internally what's
Right.
going on.
Oh, yeah.
So there might be a problem, let's say, and a person will take it to their immediate supervisor, their immediate boss, but it doesn't get disseminated to all the
All the
different
teams.
departments
Yeah.
who might say, oh, I know an easy way to fix that.
Right.
And so,
I like this idea of having the lens, the customer experience being the lens through which you're looking, and that's something that can apply to big companies and even small ones, or solopreneurs and
Absolutely.
entrepreneurs. If you just think about your customers and how they're going to perceive what you're doing and what kind of experience they're going to have, that can shape everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
True.
tell us a little bit about, we're going to wrap up, but tell us what you're working on now and what people should know, and how would they get a hold of you if they're interested in finding out more about this.
well, I'm doing more things in customer experience and as well as customer insights. And I'm focusing in a couple of areas: technology companies, some startups. Startups and companies that are
Like
really
Series A,
emerging.
yeah,
Yes.
like early funding
Yes.
companies.
And digital health area is an area that I'm particularly interested in. But I work with technology companies. I'm actually going to be doing something for an industrial company, like very industrial
Yeah,
products,
yeah.
because they often think about marketing experience less so. They think more about engineering first. So those are really fun things. And part of these, I like to do a few more of these on customer experience. I also teach
Excellent.
at a couple of universities, so
Wonderful.
that keeps me going.
And that's bottom line marketing.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep, bottom line marketing. And Deborah, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.